Finally wrapping up our experience here on Radio Row, Zach Gershman, joined alongside by the legend, I have to say that. Now, not just the Colts legend, but the sports media legend, Pat McAfee. Pat, how would you summarize this Radio Row experience?
I think it's just a good time, getting a chance to meet three dudes out of Penn State that truly just love everything that Joe Paterno built up there. It's one of those moments where you get a chance to experience things that you can't experience anywhere else. I think a few years back before we came to Radio Row, we were worried to bring the show to Radio Row because we thought we'd go corporate. It seems like it's a bit of a sellout situation. But then once you experience it one time, and the spectacle that is, and the people that are here. I just had a conversation with a man who I guess is in control of the AP All-Pro votes. Like that thing that just happens out of nowhere at Media Row. It's amazing. It's our favorite week of the year, and very pumped to be talking to you, Zach.
Oh, thank you, Pat.
No problem.
Why do you think your show has had so much success? Because even here at Radio Row, where you said, like, people that control and have really a lot of power across the NFL media, there's a crowd of these media members watching your show. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I got a good crew with me. My boys are great. I think we all kind of have the same mindset. We want just people to escape from the world for a little bit. We want to have good conversation. We want to respect the sport and respect the league. But we are the dumbest group of humans in this whole room. So we're thankful, we're honored, we know we're lucky, and when it's our time to kind of disappear, we'll definitely do that as well. But thank you for the kind words, we're having fun.
Of course. I got to ask you about, because we mentioned Penn State, I got to ask you about AQ Shipley that you have on the show. What have you learned from AQ?
I think the thing about AQ is he is obsessed with football, right? Loves football. He's from Pittsburgh, so he grew up obviously loving football. You go to Penn State. Within the state, he's a hero, wins awards with you guys. Then he goes on to have a 12-year career, even though everybody said his arms are way too short. Arms too small, gut too big, guy can't make it in the NFL. 12 years, Super Bowl champion, legend, but he loves the trenches. So I think, like this year with the rights that we got from the NFL, which we had to pay a lot of money for, being able to highlight the trenches in the offensive line through AQ's eyes has just been a good thing, not only for us, but I think for football as a whole. Yesterday, he got a shout out by Andrew Whitworth, and I saw AQ kind of glow because he wants the respect of his peers when he's giving credit to the offensive linemen, and all we're looking for is good information. So, job well done by old Alan Quay Shipley this year, and he is one of one, and anybody that met him at Penn State knows that as well.
I asked Brandon Marshall the question I'm about to ask you here, and his response, I want to compare the two between yours and his. For players like yourself and Hawk and Shipley and a lot of the guys that you have on your show, when you're playing the game, you're told to stay away from social media, don't buy into the hype or don't fall for the hate. And then once you go out into the real world, the social media platforms are all right there at your fingertips. What are your tips to utilizing those social media platforms for good and also just to benefit yourself?
I don't know. When I was playing, I started my Twitter account pretty good, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. And obviously there's negatives to everything, and there's negatives on Twitter, and there's people that say terrible things. But now obviously you have the mute and the block button that just eliminates that person from your world. So I've always been a massive social media person. I love Twitter, always have. When I was playing still in the league, I did a comedy tour that I sold through my Twitter account. I had a podcast that I marketed through my Twitter account. I had a merch store that I marketed through my Twitter account. So, I don't know. I love social media. I think everybody should love social media. I think it's the best thing on earth, and very, very lucky to live in a time in which social media exists, even though there's always going to be assholes, okay? Just like in society. There's always going to be terrible things. Mute them, block them, move on, and enjoy the world, I think.
And keep moving on, keep moving forward. Moving forward.
What did Brandon Marshall say?
Brandon Marshall basically said that he could be one of one. He could be himself, and that a lot of people, they're going to see the athlete, they're going to see the jersey number. But being on social media, you get to showcase who you really are, and you get to control that narrative in that sense.
I think that's right, too. I think that's an accurate statement, don't you?
I definitely agree. I mean, I haven't been a former athlete to know I've always had social media.
Yeah, but you got a good body. You look like a dog. You look like you could figure out the pickleball court if you have to.
Listen, if I need... Explain to me the hype behind pickleball, because I know
We just learned about pickleball 4 days ago. The house we're staying in, our whole company has, we get a couple houses at Super Bowl, we stay at it. The one house has like a par 3 in the back and then a pickleball court. And we've been on the pickleball court for like 5-6 hours a night. Great sport. Great sport. I'm talking little cardiovascular, you get a good sweat. There's strategy, takes some athleticism. We just learned about it there 4 days ago. I love it. Have you got in there yet?
I have not, but I've definitely seen all over social media. I know they're starting to make leagues about it as well to expand the sport.
I think it's the right deal. I think it's a real deal.
That's something you'd invest in?
I don't know. I've been pitched a team, actually. Like 2 days ago, I was pitched ownership of a team. I don't know enough about the game yet. I don't think I deserve that yet, but I think this offseason is going to be a lot of pickleballing, a lot of PBing.
So you mentioned that I might have the fit of being a pickleball player, but at least I know that no matter what fit I have, I could at least attempt to be a broadcaster. For you going into the broadcast booth, what were some of the things the similarities from playing the game that you were able to bring with you into the booth?
My experience was just so much different than everybody else's. I was a punter, so I was like at front row at very good teams. So my observations are going to be different than everybody else's. To Brandon Marshall's point, you should always try to be yourself, your angle, not somebody else's. And I think I was just lucky enough to kind of experience all that.
Last question for you here. You knew at a point you had it on the field. When you were playing at West Virginia and then you go on to the Colts, you obviously knew that you had the talent to do so. When did you know you had it off the field?
I think we're all still trying to find that it and what is it tomorrow versus what it is today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're always trying to go for it. I think I've always been pretty unique. I think I've always kind of had my own way of doing things, saying things, experiencing things. I got a chance to intern with the Bob and Tom Show, which is a morning show in Indianapolis that is on 170 different stations across the country. So I got to see how they operate, and I thought I fit in pretty well. I thought that could be my life. I did stand-up. I sold like 10,000 tickets, 4 different theaters. Got some good laughs, got some good pops. I think I enjoyed that a little bit. So like, I got a chance to experience some things, had some success, and I thought maybe there'll be something someday, but we're all searching for it, but it looks like you got it.
I
you
hope
got
so.
it.
I hope so.
Look at you. I think we're all searching for it, man.
Listen.
But we all have our own lane, I think. And I think that's what the it is your own lane.
Pat, thank you so much for this.
Thank
I
you, bro.
appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Yep.
We are.